not going to look identical to what the animator did, but you know, a marble vase is a marble vase if you tune the noise functions properly. It's going to give the performance with the right emotional intensity because the whole system has been trained by real talent. And so our message is that we're working on this. We love to work with people, and so here's who we are. These are the other people on the team, and if you want to work with us on any level, just send us an email at this address. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Nobody has any questions? Okay, yes.
How did you come up with these procedural parameters, you know, with sliders? I mean, how did you determine that they were the best?
I don't know whether they're the best. Basically, I started with things that seemed to me to represent something that someone who was not an expert would understand, and also seemed to cover the general sense of what people want. And what happened was I didn't quite have enough of them. So then when I started working with the real animators, people like Stuart and Zeph, they started, and Rob and Neil, they started saying, no, we want more knobs. We want lots and lots of knobs, and then we want the ability to then go in as first-level experts and collapse those many, many knobs into small numbers of higher-level knobs. So as things gone, we've opened up the system more and more. So, you know, there's so many knobs just on the movement of the hips and just on the movement of the chest. But you can quickly hide them and turn them into a small number. So rather than me trying to figure it out, I created a more flexible system for them to figure it out. And that's the direction we've been going. That's been working really well. As you can see, they're making much better animations.
I've seen earlier versions of
right.
this, and it seems to be getting more and more of those sliders, and I was wondering how you determined.
Well, so that's the key, is the ability for animators who are the first line of offense, who are basically character creators, to have many knobs that they quickly chunk down to a small number. That this is how you control this character. And then everyone who wants to direct that character is presented with a much smaller number of knobs. But you can always go as an expert and see lots and lots of knobs to tune who the character is. So the secret is the layering. Once you have the layering, then you solve both problems at once. And different kinds of experts. The director doesn't care about the subtlety of the motion in the same way. They just care about go over there and be Tom Hanks and be sad. Yeah.
What will the process be for integrating this into a commercial game engine and attaching it to the rig
We're trying very, very hard to have this go completely in the flow of things. You know, you've got your rigs in Maya, you know, you've got your skeletons, you basically export things into the game engine, and the key is going to be that instead of having to do hand animation, instead you're really directing the characters in the game engine, but everything else looks the same. It's your models, it's your rendering, it's your everything. We're just providing a kind of it's sort of real-time motion capture in the game engine on your rig. It's the way we're trying to make everything look.
What would the actual technology integration be like? How long would it take and so forth?
Well, I think by SIGGRAPH, not quite by GDC, but by SIGGRAPH, there's going to be a first version of something that people can just start using off the shelf, and we're making it as easy as possible for people to just use it in their commercial products. So it's very close now. You're seeing my Java demo version that I used to give talks, but then the whole thing also exists in Maya. It also exists in the game engines. You know, these end up being libraries that just work with the commercial software. And so the whole idea is that it just invisibly goes in, and that's what we're going to be launching by July, I think. Yeah.
I realize I don't know if it's on your laptop, but on the website there's some diagrams about how things fit in game engines and into Maya. So.
Yeah, Jerry's the guy who makes everything work. I just do the algorithms. He makes it work as a product. He's very good at that. So you should talk to him if you actually really want to make it work. So yeah.
How directly tied is it to bipeds in particular?
We could do quadrupeds. Well, we found that people are predominantly more interested right now in bipeds, and so we've been focusing more on bipeds.
Is there any way to sort of data drive your own slider bars that you might want to add and somehow add influence?
Yeah, like I said, it's layered, and so therefore you should be able to design your own custom sliders that feed into the system. Everything's designed to help you do that. Yes,
Last question.
Oh, okay, last question.
So does that mean that if you wanted to create, let's say, an 8-legged creature, if you had the patience, you could
Yeah, there's
stand
nothing.
on your system?
There's nothing that stops you from creating a system, but we've done a lot of things in our first implementation that makes things really, really easy for you to make bipeds, because most people seem to want to do that first. So a lot of the helper level is going to be a lot easier for bipeds. There's a little bit of do-it-yourself quality that we're happy to help with if you want to do more.
I see.
But that's, so are we out of time? Okay, one more question, because he's being indecisive. No. Okay.
How does this compare with the procedural animation in Spore, for example, or the?
There are many levels of similarity. I consulted on Spore, and Will and I, been talking about this stuff for many years, and et cetera. But I think that the major difference between this and Spore is that when they took these ideas and ran with them, and they're focused on alien creatures. The way Chris Hecker put it to me, he said, it's really okay in Spore for everything to be kind of glumpy, kind of springy, because they're aliens. It's okay, it's funny, it's Spore. We actually have to focus on getting beyond that. We have to be able to focus on characters that can be more subtle and more human. And so we have a different target than Spore does. We're not going to try to do 5-legged creatures, but we are going to try to, I really buy that the guy just went happy to sad there. So it's a different emphasis. Okay, thank you very much.